boy in Colorado was removed from school for wearing a "Don't Tread on Me" patch on his backpack. Let's watch some of the video of the matter. This went viral, crazy viral on social media yesterday.
The reason that they do not want the flag, the reason we do not want the flag displayed, is due to its origins with slavery and slave trade. That is what was, that's the reasoning behind why we do not want this displayed.
The Gadsden flag.
The "Don't Tread on Me."
Okay. Which is the Gadsden flag. Okay. So he's what's going to happen if he doesn't take it off?
He is able to go. I was actually just telling him, like, I was upset that he was missing so much school. I'm like, so I asked if can he just take his stuff out of his bag and go back to class. Like, I just want him to go back to class. The bag can't go back. It's got a patch on it because we can't have that in and around other kids.
It has nothing to do with slavery. That's like the Revolutionary War patch that was displayed when they were fighting the British. Like that's the revolution. Maybe you're thinking of like the Confederate patch.
The last thing I want is him out of class.
Yeah, I know.
That's all.
He takes his classes seriously. Yes. He studies. He wants to get straight A's. He did that. He made honor roll when he was here before. Yep. He intends to do that again right now, but it's hard because he keeps missing class for this. So
I understand that.
Yeah, and we teach him to always stick up for your beliefs. And you're going over the revolution for 7th grade. The founding fathers stood up for what they believed in against unjust laws. This is unjust.
The director of the Vanguard School, where Jaden, the boy in question, attends, said via email that the patch was, quote, disruptive to the classroom environment. Libertas Institute President Connor Boyack, who first publicized this situation, shared an email from district officials that was sent to Jaden's mother, which claimed the Gadsden flag is considered an unacceptable symbol.
Colorado Governor Jared Polis tweeted yesterday the Gadsden flag is a proud symbol of the American Revolution and iconic warning to Britain or any government not to violate the liberties of Americans. It appears on popular American medallions and challenge coins through today, and Ben Franklin also adopted it to symbolize the union of the 13 colonies. It's a great teaching moment for a history lesson. The Equal Employment Opportunity Commission has declined to rule that the Gadsden flag was a racist symbol, according to Reason Magazine's reporting.
My reporting. I wrote that.
Yeah, this seems to be really like this is like a not disputable.
And we should finish the story. So the day after this happened, Monday, I believed. Again, we're talking about it because it went very viral, like absurdly viral on social media, due to the blowback. Even the governor of the state weighed in that it's not actually a racist symbol. The district apologized, admitted they had made a mistake, and the little boy was able to wear his backpack the next day. There's no problem. So the issue is solved. Nobody has to worry about it.
Yep.
But it was a story of considerable interest.
It was a story. It was. I think difficult to see what it was. In fact, in the clip that we played, the teacher obviously was just ignorant about what the thing was. That it's like a human error issue. I would be interested to know if there was something systemic that was happening in the school board or anything like that. That would be a problem. I would agree that needs to be rooted out. But, it sounds like she alerted the parents immediately. The mother was able to come to the school immediately. The teacher said, I wanted to get this sorted as soon as possible to get the kid back in the room. They seemed to have a respectful conversation. The teacher was corrected, and everything went on per usual. It sounds like it was ideally handled, apart from obviously it's not ideal for the kid to be singled out in the first place. Right.
Although, district officials defended their position until they got the blowback. They sent that email saying, "Oh, look, no, it's a racist symbol." And to be clear, so this is the Gadsden flag is the snake that's like, it says "Don't tread on me." It originates as a British American Revolution kind of image. It's been appropriated by all sorts of people all over the years. I'm sure there's some white supremacist group who has used it. Left groups have used it. Actually, LGBT groups there's a rainbow version of it now. They've used it. It's like a general symbol at this point. And the initial purpose was they were trying to find a symbol for America and federalism that didn't seem to rank
the states in terms of importance or priority and represented how equal they all were going to be in the new country. And so there's the version of it in an editorial cartoon that Benjamin Franklin famously wrote and commented on that has it like broken up into various chunks, like a dead snake with all the different states connected.
Yeah,
arguing.
There it is on screen.
Yeah, arguing that together we're whole and powerful, apart we're fragmented and a dead snake on the ground. So yeah, it's a very common
Reason, so it's a popular symbol among libertarians.
Yeah.
Reason, the libertarian magazine I also write for, we use it as our 404 error page. If you accidentally go to a wrong page
Link
on
broken.
it, yeah, it's the snake being stepped on. There's some real funny ones. If you see the snake actually being stepped on, and it says, "I specifically requested the opposite of this."
I have not seen
It's a great. This is why I was interested in the story. I like the symbol.
Look, I haven't really seen anybody arguing against this, right? So it's a little curious why there's so much outrage. I haven't seen anybody say, no, this is a racist symbol. This kid is terrible. Cancel him.
Yeah.
It does seem like one uninformed teacher who made a mistake and it's been corrected. I mean, and I do think I did see some liberals, frustrated because there have been so many stories about girls that had dress codes applied to them in a way that was more harsh than the way that it's applied to boys. They're wearing the same outfits.
I'm against all that.
I'm sure you are, but that there was a whole genre of stories like this that the left tends to cotton on to. There was a really horrific case a couple of years ago, maybe just a year or so ago, where a little mixed race, half black girl had her head shaved by her teacher, who said that her hair was unkempt, and I think her parents got like $1 million settlement out of that one. There was the story many years back, I'm gonna say around 2014, 15, 16-ish. About how so many traditional black hairstyles were considered to be off code in the military, and black service women were struggling with how to manage that. And only recently, I think the Crown Act equalized some of that treatment in the military. So there are so many instances where people have legitimate grievances about being treated differently in these kind of contexts where there's codes of conduct, et cetera. And I'm happy for all of those to be resolved in favor of the individuals making complaints, including this one. So I did see a little frustration, like, oh, now you care about what's happening in schools. But, substantively, I think this is a slam dunk, easy mistake that I'm glad it got corrected.
It's frustrating and unfortunate. College students' First Amendment free speech rights have been exhaustively litigated in their favor. The broad protection on a Supreme Court basis of students' free speech rights at the college level. The K through 12 level, the court has not been nearly as protective of students' free speech rights. It's that, and this is why the district fell back on this argument. There's a substantial ability that's been recognized by courts, wrongly in my view, but has been recognized by the court for schools to curb students' free expression rights in the name of preventing disruption. There was the Bong Hits for Jesus Supreme Court case. You remember that one?
No.
Where a student had a nonsense sign that just said Bong Hits for Jesus. I think it was during like a public, it was at some outdoor activity that was taking place, and he was punished for it. He sued. It went all the way to the Supreme Court, and they ruled that he couldn't have that sign because it was disruptive, and it was, even though it was a nonsense message that he just
I don't know how I feel about it legally, but it does seem to me
I would like to more broadly
appropriate
protect.
to say that there should. I'm actually in favor of dress codes in school. I always wish that I had a uniform. I feel like there are class issues where people come in, the class discrepancies between kids is, obviously you're not going to have it in a public school context, but class discrepancies between kids that get exacerbated when one kid can come in wearing a $400 jacket and another kid is not able to afford those kinds of things. I do think obviously there are kinds of clothing that are distracting, not because girls' bodies need to be policed, but because they say things like we weren't allowed to wear beer and alcohol logos, curse words, things like that. I grew up in Kenya, and there's a very popular shirt for Tusker beer, a local beer that's considered one of the best African beers and wins global prizes all the time. And it's an iconic shirt. Like every tourist who goes to Kenya gets one of these shirts, and a lot of the kids would have them. I remember them being all these fights about, well, seriously, we can't wear our Tusker shirts. But you can appreciate why you wouldn't want a bunch of seventh graders walking around with a big bottle of beer on their chests. I don't know. I do think that it's kids, it's children, and there's a part of school that's about modeling appropriate behavior in a workplace, in a professional setting, around adults and things like that. But, placing stigmatizing meaning on symbols that don't exist. I mean, we all know what beer is. It's illegal for kids. But the don't tread on me stuff, this is a slam dunk. I'm glad it got worked out. More Rising right after this.